Hey guys, what's up? Welcome into the Betting Pros Prop Bet live stream. It's me, Dan Harris. You guys probably know me already if you are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Welcome in. We've got a double dip today, better than our usual one Monday game. Now, I will say that we are going to do this tomorrow as well, since we've got two Tuesday night games. We'll probably do that one at 5 p.m. Eastern rather than 4, since one of the games isn't at 5 tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. I see people in the chat. Hello. If you have any questions about any specific props, name them right there in the chat. We can talk through them. Absolutely. And you have to be a subscriber to this channel to be able to comment. Not a big deal. Just click the subscribe button and even click the notifications button so you get notified whenever we go live. What you are looking at right now, in addition to my tiny face on this video, is the Betting Pros Prop Bet cheat sheet. So what that does is it lists props, every player prop available in the market. It gives you the best odds here that you can see, or you can sort by your own book or your location. If you look in the top right, you can see all locations. If you want, you could do a drop down and do something like where I am, which is New Hampshire, and it will just give me the odds that are available to me in New Hampshire. That's DraftKings. That's the only book. But generally, if you sort by all locations and it gives you best odds, that's what you're going to be able to see at all bets. I like a lot of people in the comments talking about how Nick Mullins looks really short. I guarantee if you met Nick Mullins in real life, he would tower over you, except me because I am actually a giant. Okay, let's go to all locations here, even though it's still now showing just. See, if you look at Arizona, you would get FanDuel, all that sort of stuff. All right, so all locations here, and we are looking again. This is at bettingpros.com/props. You can get the prop bet cheat sheet, and this compares consensus projections to the available lines in the market. So this is ranking by what the prop bet cheat sheet sees as the biggest difference between what's available in the market and the consensus projections that they have. So as you can see, the two that they really like right now are the overs on the passing yards, and that is Mullins to go over 192.5 passing yards, and Derek Carr over 242.5 passing yards. I personally am not betting either one of these. It's just not something I want to go near. This is a very uncertain game. We can be absolutely honest about that. So the passing yards prop, that's not really where I'm looking for this one. I am going to look a little bit at the rushing props. And as you can see, you can sort down here and you can get to wherever you are. That's Nick Chubb, obviously over, and they project him to be over by 9. And Josh Jacobs, they project him to be over by 8. You can also search for specific players. So if you want, there's a drop down of the specific players in this matchup. I'm just going to go to all the Josh Jacobs prop bets. You can also hit his, name right there. I'm trying this, by the way, hopefully. So, and it will also show you all of the props that you can see. So again, that's just something that you can look at there. Okay. So let's go back to player props. Sorry about that. Prop bet cheat sheet. Okay. So let's go to Josh Jacobs, because this is one that I think I've been looking at tonight, and what we're going to see here from this game. And I think now that what we've got, sorry, I went back to all matchups, by the way. Sorry, doing this on the fly. There we go. Las Vegas, Cleveland. Everything is fine. I like Josh Jacobs in this game for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously we know now Kenyon Drake is out, so that's going to take away at least some of the, taking away part of his, running back share. You should see Jalen Richard here, but again, he's not used as a runner nearly as much as Drake necessarily would have been. Now, I think we will see Richard take away from Jacobs' passing game work, but now with the fact that Mullins is the starter, that has swung the line from Cleveland laying 3 to Cleveland getting 3, which means, of course, bookmakers assume or are thinking that a fair spread here is that the Raiders are going to win this game. And you look at the way Josh Jacobs is used in games that the Raiders win versus games that they lose, he generally sees 10 more carries in games that they win. They will try to rely on the running game here, given the fact that Cleveland is probably not going to be able to, have many lengthy sustained drives or anything like that. So it does strike me as a game that they will lean heavily on Jacobs in the running game. 16.5 rushing attempts is a little high for me. I don't mind the over there. The prop bet cheat sheet basically has that right there as well at 16.3. But for me, that's probably about where he's going to end up. 17 carries, 18 carries, 19 carries. But if he does, we're talking about 50.5 rushing yards. That's something that that's 3 yards per carry. He can easily get there. So I'm looking at the over there. I got a lot of people asking about Justin Fields. We will get to that game in a second. I absolutely promise you, because I do like some props a little bit more than that. So that is one that I like as well. I'm going to now go to all players here, and I'm going to go to receiving yards, because I do like the prop bet cheat sheets number one recommendation on receiving yards, and that is Donovan Peoples-Jones to go over 35 and a half receiving yards. Now, I don't know what it's going to be. These are the best odds that are available right now. So this is at PointsBet at minus 115. You can see the prop bet cheat sheet at 57.69 yards. That's high, but it's not insane. I have it projected a little more conservatively. I have it at 48.4, but that is still enough of an edge there where I would be more than willing to bet it in this game. I do think that Mullins will take a shot deep. That actually is what the Raiders see. They see a lot of deep shots, generally speaking, and you've got no Jarvis Landry here. Peoples-Jones is the quote-unquote most reliable receiver that Nick Mullins is going to have in this game. So it is something where I don't mind going with that one as well. That's another one that I'm looking at. The final one that I'm looking at is a receptions total, and I just want to see whether or not it's moved up. It is still there at FanDuel. Hunter Renfrow, 6.5 receptions. You've just got to take the over on this at this point with Darren Waller out. The last 3 games, 8, 9, and 13 catches. Like, this is what they're doing. It's no secret, but the way they are able to utilize Renfrow is in a way that you're still able to pile on the catches. Even before this, he has hit this number, even when Waller was healthy, in 6 of his last 7 games. The number should be 7.5, and I wonder whether or not a lot of books are just juicing up 7.5. At 7.5, I wouldn't mind the over, but it is something, generally speaking, where if you can get 6.5, that's a number I like. Even though it's juiced up to minus 136, I don't mind playing the juice quite as much on player props. So that's where I would go with that. That is really what I'm looking at here in this game. It's something where, I think in the end, those are really where you want to attack. And that's really my favorite player props for this game. Let's get to the second game here, and let's get to Minnesota at Chicago. This is people want to know about Justin Jefferson. Okay, 2 questions. One is about Justin Jefferson. One is about, from Ryan Ralph, at Justin Fields. So Alex is asking Justin Jefferson over under receiving yards. So I am just going to go straight to Justin Jefferson and look at the props that he's got. 95 and a half receiving yards. I hope you guys that are looking understand just how nuts that is for that to be the prop. Now, if I had to bet it, like forced to with your money out there, I am going to go ahead and take the over, because I think the 102-yard projection is very fair. I have it 98.3, I believe. So that is something where I'm okay to take the over, but that's a huge number, guys. Like, that's something where I wouldn't necessarily want to look at. What I might want to look at, though, is another receiving yards prop, which is KJ Osborne, over 45 and a half receiving yards. That's actually something, and I was talking about this earlier with Pat Fitzmaurice, who has been on the BettingPros show, but is also one of the most accurate fantasy football rankers in the industry and has been for a decade. He knows players, he knows player props, he knows generally what to expect from them, and he and I were in agreement on this. We saw Osborne get 9 targets in this most recent game. He caught only 3 of them, but still he wound up with a lot of yardage because of that long touchdown catch. You're going to see shots in this game against a really terrible Bears secondary at this point. So this is a line that, in my opinion, I mean, really, I have him projected for higher than even our prop bet cheat sheet has him. Prop bet cheat sheet at 53.64. I'm at 57.2. This is something where I think you can attack the KJ Osborne prop minus 105. He sees without Adam Thielen. This is assuming Adam Thielen is out, by the way, which I'm just essentially assuming right now. I think the books are as well, which is why they feel comfortable putting up these props. That's generally where I feel comfortable going. So that is one where I'm going to go. Somebody's asking, Karen is asking about Njoku. I'll go back to that then after I'm done with this game for sure if we missed it. Another receiving yards prop that I don't mind is Darnell Mooney, over 50 and a half receiving yards. You can see the projection at 60.8. I am right there with my projection, 60.3. So we are both right there. You've got them cutting Bashad Breeland in this for the Vikings already with a secondary that has been struggling for the most part. I think you're going to see a lot of Mooney in this game. I think you're going to see them attack the outside. So the secondary generally weak again. And without Bashad Breeland for the verbal altercation, whatever went in, I think you're going to see that quite a bit. And I also think that this leads to another projection. You're going to see that Cole Kmet right now is a line of 30.5. The prop bet cheat sheet has him as over 37.9. I actually like the under. So I'm not always in agreement here with the prop bet cheat sheet. That takes consensus projections. I obviously do my own. I think that number one, the Vikings are elite against tight ends. They just do not give up production to them, either yards or touchdowns, at all. And I think the way the Bears are going to plan to attack this is on the outside, not with Cole Kmet. So I expect him to really be more in the 20s, low 20s, something like that, maybe 2 catches max. And I would be looking for going for the under. So that's what I am looking for right now as I'm looking for this game. If you look at what some of these projections at the top at our prop bet cheat sheet looks like, 203.5. They like the over for Justin Fields passing yards. I don't hate that. Dalvin Cook over receiving yards, 15.5. They have it projected for 27.7. If you listen to our Daily Juice podcast, Matt Peralta has also taken this prop tonight. He likes that one as well. So if you want to go there, that's fine. I don't see quite as much of an edge there. 255.5 passing yards for Kirk Cousins. Slight edge there per the prop bet cheat sheet, but it's not something where I necessarily want to go. Now, somebody again was asking in the chat. Ryan Ralph is asking about Justin Fields rushing props. So let's just do the drop down. Let's just go to Justin Fields and see what we've got available for rushing yards. This is at 44.5, and obviously there is no edge whatsoever. But Ryan is saying that he's got 34.5 at Prize Picks. He feels like that's a smash play. I like that as well. I think the 44.19 projection is pretty solid. That's about where I have him. So I would be fine to go with that. So somebody, Alex, by the way, sorry, I'm just dealing with the comments. Do you have anything to say? Put them in the comments. I'm monitoring them. You'll see me looking to the right because I want to have the prop bet cheat sheet in front of me. So I've got the comments here to the right. Somebody is asking about Dalvin Cook under rushing yards. No, I don't like that necessarily either. I am staying away really from Dalvin Cook. It's 91.5. He's got a projection for 93. I think the line is very, very fair, pretty sharp here. Not something where I'm going over under. I would just stay away from it. Somebody again was asking about the Njoku line. So let me just go back here to Las Vegas and Cleveland and let me get David Njoku. He's asking about the projections. So the receiving yards are 29.5 and the projections for the prop bet cheat sheet are 35.8. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't have a good enough feel for what Nick Mullins can do in this offense to feel comfortable with a David Njoku projection. My projection for him, and I was assuming Mullins was there, is 31. So a slight lean over, but I just don't have a great feel for it. If it was Mayfield, I think this number would be an absolute guaranteed spot that I would go over with it. So that's sort of where I'm leaning. I'm trying to stay away from it. I see a couple of people, by the way, asking. So people are asking, would I take Justin Fields under 44 and a half rushing yards? I don't really feel that way. If that's the line, that's basically a pretty fair line. That's just something where here's the deal, guys. You don't have to bet everything. So for me, it's something where I would probably stay away. But Justin Fields rushing yards are 44.5. It's a stay away for me at that number. Ralph was asking about 34.5. That's something where I think you can hit the under. I see a couple of people asking about some fantasy questions. I'm going to answer those in the chat as soon as I'm done. So hang on and make sure you keep watching for what comes up in the chat. Ryan Ralph is also asking about Jacobs at 3.5 receptions. Feels like the under if they play from ahead. I do think that that's fair. And I did look at that. My one worry with it is the fact that we've got Jacobs way more involved in the passing game, generally speaking, like not even playing from behind, just as a general sort of spot. And it looks like it's plus money here, I guess, if you want to go over. But the projections have him right at 3.5. I think that's a pretty fair projection for it as well. So that is something where I'm probably going to stay away. You guys can see, again, this is at bettingpros.com/props. This is so easy to navigate. You can go to any player you want. You can check it out. And again, you see I'm on the other side of a Cole Kmet projection and recommendation from the prop bet cheat sheet. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to stick with everybody, but it's a great way to pretty easily go through and sort everything and find the props that you like the best. And again, you can sort by matchup as I'm doing. You can sort by player. And then if you want, you can click on a player and you can see, generally speaking, what all of their various props are. So those are the props I'm into tonight. I hope you guys come along, have some fun, trail with me if you want. If not, find your own prop that works for you. We'll be back tomorrow breaking down both of those games that we'll see on Tuesday, but we'll be here at 5 p.m. tomorrow Eastern, so make sure to join us. In the meantime, thank you for being here. Subscribe to the channel, helps us out. Click the notification button so you don't miss any of our future live streams or videos, and I will talk to you again in about 24 hours tomorrow.